Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. The information on today's program was gathered from many different places and many different people. If you hear yourself in the conversation, it's not all about you. For speaking appearances or to contact us and help us out, make sure we're staying here to give you all the information every day. Please go to our website, ewfw.org, or give us a call here at 727-422-1833. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to take us through an exercise that I hope will help you in your leadership adventure. Because, see, leadership is an adventure. It's something that happens daily, not in a day. So let's look at it. Today's topic is going to start out, what is your destiny? What is your destiny? See, do you believe that your destiny is written and cannot be changed? Many people do. Many people think that it's said it's because of where they were born or who they were born to or the situation where they were in. I believe that everyone has a specific plan, and your gifts, talents, and passions have been provided just for you. And I truly believe that because I've seen it over and over how people have come to realize what their gifts and talents are and move out of their situations. Now, I have to tell you, though, it is our job to seek out and use our given gifts, talents, and passions. So how are we called to do this? That's usually the biggest question. Well, first you have to come to the realization that you can do nothing by yourself. And realizing that all that we have, all that we do, is built on the shoulders of those who came before us and with the helping hands of those around us. Now, that's quite a big thought for some people that understand that, they just can't do it all by themselves. We don't. I mean, think about the clothes you're wearing. Did you go out and raise the sheep or raise the cotton and then put it through the cotton gin? Did you take and string it on? Did you knit? I mean, come on. You didn't do all those things. There's other people helping out. There's a bigger part and a bigger picture here. But finding out your gifts and talents, well, now that's a different story. That is your job. So the first one is to come to that realization that you can do nothing by yourself. The second step will be to take some contemplation and internal examination. Now, contemplation and internal examination really needs to be done somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed. You're going to need to have some things around you, some pencils and paper, pens, or whatever it is to take down some notes, or if you find it quicker, faster, better to type it on the computer, that's up to you. But you need to take some time. And take some time to sit quietly and look inward. Think. Now, that's something we don't sometimes take and do enough of. So keep a pen and paper at hand and take notes of what you will be discovering about yourself. I encourage you to do this because quite frankly, it's the hard part. The hard part is really getting it down and written so you have it, not somebody else. This is about you. Now, I can tell you that sometimes you're going to need to ask for some guidance and direction on how to do this. You're going to need to maybe ask for some guidance and direction to get you going. But don't forget to write them down. Everything. I mean everything. Get a list going of all the things that come naturally to you and you love to do. That's going to be a big list if you've got some years with you. And if you don't, well, you know what? Write down what does. Get it down on a piece of paper that what comes naturally to you. It always amazes me when we do this with our clients, that when they start writing, they realize all the things they can do. They start to push aside all the things they can't do and start making a better list of things they would like to learn or would like to do. So that's why we're encouraging you to do this. Get the list going of all the things you naturally like to do and love to do. Get another list of all the things you don't like to do. Now, I'm going to tell you what, those two lists, we're going to start comparing them, and you're going to be amazed how your gifts and talents are going to pop out of that. Now, get out and ask some people that you trust, and it will give you some honest answers that are true and accurate. Ask them what they believe are your gifts, your talents, your passions. See what other people say. But don't just do one. Make sure that you're doing more than one. You're doing it better in interviewing. Correlate and evaluate the information. And now you're ready to get going. You see, that was kind of doing the research. Now, you've probably heard me talk about that before. Doing the research is always the first step of almost everything that we do. Now, the next step really is what? You need to start correlating and how it goes together. Now, that really gets to be an opportunity. So we're going to do the research, and then we're going to prepare. Now, what does that mean? Well, quite frankly, it means that we're going to have to maybe do something. We might have to take a class, go to a seminar. We might have to do something on our own that we didn't expect that we were going to have to do. So prepare. If you're going to learn all you can about each item on that list that comes up that really might surprise you, how you really need to put that into your life. So research, okay, prepare. And of course, the next one is execute. Take your preparation, your research, and put them to work. You know, it sounds so easy, doesn't it? It's not. And I'm not going to fib to you and tell you it is, because you know what? Taking this time to sit down and be quiet and listen to your inner self, to make your lists of all the things that you come naturally and you love to do, it's not all that easy. And first of all, squirrel away the time to make it happen sometimes is harder than not. But to do the research and get prepared, those two things will always be with you. You see, we would do the research and we prepare no matter whether it's learning how to brush our teeth or comb our hair. It's there. And we always do those two things before we execute on anything. So I'm going to encourage you to, right now, take the time to get a piece of paper, write down a date and time that you're going to do this, and then after you have put this all together, you've taken the time. And by the way, this might not happen just in one day. It might take you several days to make this happen. But once you do, I want you to take and get a plan down. And I want you to put the plan on a piece of paper. And I want you to share it with other people. I want you to learn how to live your passion and use your gifts and share and build everyone around you. I want you to know that this is what you've been called to do. And I'm going to encourage you to put it to use. Don't sit on it. You see, if you're just sitting on it, it's not doing you any good. It's not doing them any good. It's just not doing anybody any good. So what good is it? and that's always the question, isn't it? So what's your destiny? What's your gifts, your talents, your passions? If you don't know what they are, and you're struggling with this, give us a call here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development, 727-422-1833. Let us help you help yourself get in tune with yourself so that you can move ahead quicker, faster, better, and help those around you, because that's what all leaders are called to do. Now, I believe this takes us into our next segment in a very smooth and easy way. You see, we were talking about what's your destiny, and I was asked the other day, and I have to tell you, it was kind of fun. People said, well, what do you do on your weekends? Well, I'm pretty much, I spend my weekends with the family, but I like to be out in the woods. I like to be out in nature. But I put together this list of things that successful people do. Successful people on weekends read good books. Now, that doesn't mean it's not a novel. It doesn't mean it's something that piques your interest, but pick up a book about something, one of your gifts, talents, passions, something that is really, flicking that switch and making you want to do some research and be prepared. And I myself, I like to read more than one book at a time. That's who I am. I enjoy it. My wife thinks it's kind of crazy, but I like to read a good book. I like to read a book that's good for me, something that's going to help me in my life, something that's going to help me grow and go, as well as I like a good old Western mystery. Come on. You need to read for pleasure as well as education, but you need to be doing them. And the weekend's a perfect time. You can take and sit on the back porch. You can, lay in your lounger, whatever it is. Take some time to do that. Reading does many different things. First of all, it expands your mind. And second of all, it helps you with your vocabulary. And as leaders, that's something we all could use some little help with, even myself. The second thing that successful people do is they spend time with their families. Now, this doesn't mean just being in the same house or the same apartment. This means actually spending time and talking and sharing and getting to know one another on a different level other than I'm your dad or I'm your mom or I'm your sister, I'm your brother, or whatever it may be. Spend time intentionally with one another. If your family's across the country like ours is, you pick up the phone, send a text, send an email, do something to reconnect with the family. Spend some time. You'll be surprised how important that is as you move up in the age bracket. Ages and stages change. But we have found over and over that successful people are intentional about spending time and reconnecting with their family. Another thing that successful people do is they keep moving. And as I get older, I find sometimes I like to say, I don't have time. Well, you make time, but you need to keep moving. You see, you need to exercise the body. This thing that houses everything that we are, you need to take care of it. And that means move. If you become sedentary, you become like sediment. And that's the bottom of the river, folks. That's just not a really good thing. But you need to exercise the body as well as the mind. And that means keep moving. Whether it's walking, whether it's working out, it's going to the gym. It could be you're going to go out and work in the garden. I spend a lot of time in our garden because I love how the doctor says I do more deep knee bends out there pulling weeds than I do if I go to the workout area. Keep busy, keep moving, keep your brain, keep your body, everything, keep moving. It'll help you in the long run. It stimulates everything and it gets you ready for what's coming up. The next thing that successful people do on their weekends, they enjoy time spent on a hobby or two. Now myself, I have to encourage more people to take up hobbies. Many ladies, it seems at this time of life, they send me their husbands who say that, they did their 30 years in corporate and that was who they were and that's who they identified with, but they never took time to to get a hobby, to enjoy something. Now they're retired and they're just sitting there watching TV. Can you do something? Well, the time to do something is long before that. It's learn how to do many different things. I like to tie flies when it's cold outside or it's raining and I don't want to go outside, but it keeps my mind and my fingers moving. I love to go out for a walk. Sometimes I'll go for a walk and it's raining outside. My wife always says, "What are you walking in the rain?" Well, I'm going outside. I'm moving. You see, what's your hobby? We have a big woodworking shop out here on the ranch, and I do many different things. I fish, I kayak, I canoe, I camp. I'm always doing something that's my hobby. Many years ago, I met a young fellow at a park, and he got me interested in disc golf, of all things. But I found it's a full body aerobic workout, man. And now you walk 18 holes and throw 18 holes. I'm gonna tell you what, you come home all worked out and you're tired. But it's a great hobby. Find something that you truly enjoy. Do the research, get prepared, and then execute. Get her done. Now, something else that successful people do on the weekend, they shop, they cook, and they eat healthy. Now, I know that sometimes people say, "Well, gee, I just don't have time to cook." I have to tell you, my wife has made a science out of making 30-minute meals. And she could make 30-minute meals even when we had both children living here. Now it's just the two of us, and we're still making 30-minute meals. And we go out very seldom. People say, "Well, did you try this new restaurant? Did you do that?" Well, the answer is usually no. We enjoy cooking and we enjoy eating at home. When we're on the road for a book tour or a speaking engagement, yes, we have to eat out, but we have to be very selective because we like to eat healthy, take care of our bodies. Sometimes when we're on the road, I walk a lot more stairs at those hotels than I do anything else because I've got to keep moving and be healthy. Something else that successful people do that might surprise you is they sleep in when they can. Restoration of mind, body, and soul is so important. I know that when we learned how to sleep in when we could, oftentimes I like to sleep in and then go out and make coffee and then come back and grab a good book. I kind of like to mix them all together. There's just nothing better than that to restore your mind and your thinking ability and getting those neurons just snapping away. Good stuff. Restoration of mind, body, and soul by sleeping in when you can. Now, this next one, I have to tell you, we've struggled with, but I'm really enjoying doing it. Successful people try something new or different. It's one of our goals here at this house. Miss Robin and I, we try to do something different every weekend. And now we've moved it to Wednesdays because our weekends with our family and our granddaughter and things like that, we're pretty busy. So we try to do something new and exciting on Wednesday. And being our age and stage, we can do that. But I'm going to encourage you to either on Wednesday or weekends, whatever it is, try something new. Within reason, okay? We tried those inline skates, and that was about a 30-minute try and realized that just was not for me. But try something new. We find ourselves trying something new, those new recipes, or I try a new way to do the smoker, or, we're always just trying something new. You might want to give that a shot. Now, another thing that successful people do on weekends, believe it or not, they spend time outside finding the picturesque in everything. They just go outside and enjoy and realize that in nature, the beautiful things that are there. You know, even on a bad day, if it's raining and overcast, you're going to find something that's beautiful for the day. I have a photographer friend, and it amazes me that when I go with him, and some of the days we've gone has really been terrible days. It was too terrible to fish. It was too terrible to take and do something else. But here we were walking through the woods taking pictures. Of course, my job was to take and hold the umbrella or hold the sheet over top of him so he could get the picture and it didn't ruin his camera. But I was always amazed at his eye and what he would pick out. And then the praise that he gave to the maker of making that. What an exciting thing to rejuvenate your whole way of living and looking at things. So spend time outside. You know, I know some of my friends are living in the big cities and then they live in the high rises and whatnot, but I've encouraged them to go down and find something outside that has some nature to it. There's some parks that you can find. You can find it if you look and take the time. It was amazing to me that we were finding that. Now, this one, it's going to be hard for some of you. But successful people, they turn off electronics and plug into relationships instead. It saddens me to no end that when we go out and about and Miss Robin and I see a family and they're all on their iPhone, their thumbs are just moving just as quick, but they're all not speaking to one another. And we have even been with other couples when we've been out and about, and the other couple seems to be more in tune with the electronic device than each other or us. And I like leaving that thing at home, or I put it on stun, silent. And if it beeps, I look at it pretty quick. And if it's something I need to, it's, an emergency, I might take care of it. But most likely I'll let it go and I'll catch it later. It's more important to build that relationship than to answer that phone. If it's an emergency, they're going to call back. If it's an emergency, it's going to say 911. If it's an emergency, it's going to do something. But if it's not, if it's just some kind of inquiry, it's just somebody touching base, hey, you can get back to it. You're there with some other person, and building that relationship is more important than that phone call. Now, I'm going to tell you what. Today, I believe we're too connected. We're so connected that we lose that ability to speak to one another. It's pretty scary when you think about it. This next one came from a good friend of mine who is a pastor. He gave it to me many years ago, and I've used it at the bottom of my correspondence. I've used it in many lectures. I've used it all around the country. But we have found over and over that successful people on the weekends get up, look up, and link up. They get up and get going. Even if they've slept in for that little extra sleep in time, they're going to be appreciative. They're going to look up and be appreciative of all the things that they have, they've been given, that they've worked for, that they enjoy. And then they're going to link up with others and build relationships and move together in a way that is important. You see, these things that successful people do on weekends, they're not hard, they're not brain science, they're not anything else. They're just things that will bring you together and build a better person and relationships with those around you. They read good books. They spend time with their families. They keep moving. They exercise their body as well as their mind. They enjoy a time spent on a hobby or two or three. They shop, cook, and eat healthy. They sleep in when they can for restoration of mind, body, and soul. They risk trying something new or different. They risk trying something new or different. They spend time outside, finding the picturesque in everything. They turn off the electronics and plug into relationships. And they get up, look up, and link up with those around them and are important to them. When we started out today, we started talking about our destiny. We started talking about a way to look at and find our gifts, talents, and passions. We found out that the best way to do that was to simply make some lists. And you know, it's going to be harder than what you think. But you're going to make a list of all the things that come naturally to you and that you like to do. You're going to make that list of all the things you don't like to do. And as comparing them, you're going to find a way that you're going to find your gifts, talents, and passions. You're going to be able to put in place a vision, a future picture, a mission. That's your purpose or your calling. And a strategy, a plan, a day-to-day plan that you're going to be able to do daily so you can live your mission and achieve your vision. And that's how we do it. I'm going to encourage you when you do that to get it all written down and yes, share it with someone. You know, having an accountability opportunity is probably the biggest thing we can do for ourselves. Knowing that we can't do anything by ourselves and knowing that there's always going to be someone, we need to have someone there to help us, guide us, move us along, hold us accountable. And that's the important part of writing that down and sharing it with others. If you just hold it to yourself, no one knows what you're trying to do and no one knows what your vision and your mission is, and so no one can help you. So I'm going to ask you to take and share it. We then, of course, went and jumped on this thing of what do successful people do. And I'm going to tell you what, the successful people not only do this on the weekends, they do this pretty much almost daily. We live and survive on these 10 things that mean so much to each and every one of us. The part about reading good books is something that will stimulate your mind as well as your ability to experiment and try and risk something different. Spending time with your family is probably one of the most important things I can encourage you to do, and as well as exercising your body as well as your mind. Men and ladies, I'm going to encourage you, even if you have a super duper career, to find something else that's going to keep your mind and body busy when that time comes when maybe you say, I'm going to retire. And of course, they ask me that all the time around here, and I keep telling them that I did it once or twice and it didn't stick, but I really feel like I'm retired now because I get to do exactly what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and with whom I want to do it. That's why I come to you in each and every day here on the radio to share these things with you, to get you prepared for what's coming next. Now, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, of course, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, we encourage you to give us a call here at 727-422-1833, 727-422-1833, or send me an email, dick@ewfw.org, dick@ewfw.org. Or you know what? When you know for sure that you need myself or Miss Robin to come and do a keynote speaking opportunity, give some good instruction to your business or your organization, all you've got to do is give us that call, 727-422-1833. Go to the website, ewfw.org. Click on that little button, set a time and a date. We'll get right back to you. And I want to tell you it's been my pleasure to be with you today, the Leadership Wrangler. But until next time, ride hard, ride fast.